Hello everybody and welcome back to another My Porch Prints tutorials. This is Kyra and today we are going to be making an antique autumn journal, and this is just kind of a junk journal I sort of made up when I had some free time. I wanted to do something for fall, but I didn't want it to be like overtly fall, so I sort of just took some inspiration from a couple of kits in the shop, kind of using neutral fall colors. And in this first video today, I'm going to be showing you how to make this outer cover here. And then we're going to be doing a part 2 where I show you how to add pages to the inside, how to kind of decorate the inside covers and create a closure. And then, that'll be kind of the part 2. So if you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out when that video drops. But without much further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into today's project. So to begin, I am taking a cereal box that I have on hand. It's just this thin cardboard material. And I like to use cereal boxes because they kind of come with a spine and cover already kind of built in here. So the spine of this cereal box is 2 inches. Yours might be a little different depending on which cereal box you use. And then for a standard cover, I usually go with 5.5 by 8.5 inch covers, and you can measure that out with a ruler if you want. I actually have some chipboard pieces that I use as sort of a template, so if you have any cardboard or chipboard lying around, you can trace out a template and then just use that to make your covers in the future. And then taking a pencil, I just kind of trace around the outside of those, and that will give me my front and back cover and my spine. So I just cut that out, and you can see we've already kind of got the base shape for the cover here. All right, so the next thing we need to do is cover up this pattern here. So I am going to be taking a paper from our Autumn Cottage Junk Journal kit, and I printed it out twice just on regular paper, nothing printed on the back here. And you can choose any paper you want. I just liked the colors for this one. So I'm going to be cutting off this little edge here since my printer doesn't print borderless. And then I'm going to glue these 2 papers with like about 1 inch of overlap. It doesn't have to be perfect. I am trying to line up this repeating pattern here since I realized I can do that with this paper. So I just went ahead and glued those together. And then I'm adding glue all along the sort of cover of my journal, and I'm going to place my paper on top and glue it down. If you get this centered, it will be a little bit easier to work with. Mine was a little bit off center. I had quite a bit more paper at the top than the bottom, but it's not going to make a huge difference here. We're going to start by folding in all of the corners just like this. So go ahead and do that to all 4 corners, and then once you get these folded down, you can take some glue and glue the corners down. And I am using FABRI TAC glue. It's non-water based and won't wrinkle your paper, so it's really handy. It's a little expensive, but it works really well for fabric, metal, paper, everything. So we do have all of our supplies linked in our Amazon affiliate shop down in the description box, along with every kit that I'm using today. So if you're looking for anything, it should be down in the description box. All right, so continuing here, I'm going to fold all of these edges and glue them down as well. And you want to get it tight to the cover so that when you're all finished, it should look something like this. And then I'm going to crease along the spine here, and that does create some gusseting or wrinkling in the paper, but don't worry, you won't be able to see that when all of your pages are attached to the journal with the method we're using today. So just go ahead and fold those covers so that they are nice and pliable here like this. And then we can actually move along to actually decorating the front cover. So I went ahead and kind of picked out all of my supplies ahead of time, and we're going to start with this piece of paper here. Now this is from my scrap box, and I'm not really sure where it's from. It's just kind of like a plain brown paper. If you go to our Etsy shop and type in brown paper or damask paper, you should be able to find something similar to use. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure exactly where this piece of paper is from. But I did round the corners and then just glue it down. I did cut it down a little bit smaller than the size of my actual cover to leave a little bit of a border. And then I'm going to use that kind of as my size guide for cutting everything else. So I am using this ribbon. I believe this is Celebrate It brand ribbon from Walmart, but I did buy it like 4 or 5 years ago, so I don't know if they still sell it, but I just tried to find colors that matched the paper that I was using. And that also includes this like wide piece of like burlap ribbon that I got from the dollar store. Again, I don't think this is still available, but I'm just going with like fall textures. So burlap, woven ribbon, you know, mesh, things like that that remind me of fall. So I'm going to take this wider strip and I'm going to glue it around the spine and the back cover here. And I'm just going to kind of tuck my end around to the inside, and that'll give me a nice clean edge here. And then I'm going to layer some more of that orange ribbon on top. And then I'm also taking a little bit of this like brown ribbon. I'm not exactly sure what this is called, but I'm going to add a strip of that in the center as well, just creating a little bit more interest, some layers here to kind of wrap around my cover. And I'm adding this now so that I can cover it with a piece of paper, and that's again going to give me those clean edges and kind of hold everything in place and make things a little more secure. So I'm using a piece of coffee dyed paper that I just tore one of the edges off of and then rounded the corners and went over everything with Distress ink. And I'm not measuring anything, I'm kind of just eyeballing things, trying to get somewhat equal thirds here on my cover, but it's not perfect. I'm just sort of having fun and trying to find colors and textures that I feel like match my paper. So I'm adding another strip of that brown ribbon on the edge here just to kind of break up some of that blank color. I wanted a little bit of something extra here. And then we can set that aside to dry while we make these little decorative frames. So I did grab a couple of little brads. Again, these will be linked in our Amazon shop. And then you're also going to need some die cut frames. We got ours on Etsy, but if they're not available and we can't link them down below, just go look for die cut frames anywhere on the internet and you should be able to find some. And I went ahead and traced this image from our, I believe it's the Shabby Rose printable kit. I just found this picture of this girl and I thought that'll work. So I traced the inside of the frame, but when I cut it out, I actually left a little bit more space, like diameter, around the image, because if it's cut perfectly to size, you won't be able to glue it to the frame. It needs a little bit of an edge to glue down here. So make sure to leave just a little bit of extra paper around the border of your image. And you can use any image you want. I just happened to grab this one from this kit, but you could use a picture of like a personal family member or anything like that that you want. We have a lot of like faded photos and like vintage kits, so you can go ahead and find any image that you like to use here. This is just the one I picked. And then once you have that completely glued down, we're going to go ahead and add some chains. Now this is optional. You can see I also added like a little bit of stick-on pearls. You don't have to do that. That's just something I was adding. But for the chain, you will need a couple of these little rings to secure the chain to. And we bought our chain from a craft store, but you could use like an old necklace or something like that if you have that on hand and that's all you have. And you could also use bulb pins instead of rings if you don't have rings in a pinch. And then I'm using 2 chains, one longer, one shorter, and the length really depends on your journal and personal preference. So you will need some wire cutters, and I found that having a pair of needle nose pliers made this a lot easier as well. So I have one long chain and one short chain, and I'm going to add both ends to those rings, so it should look something like this when you're done. And then to secure this to our little frame here, I am taking those brads and I'm just slipping them through the ring. So you want the ring to be small enough that it doesn't, you know, slide off of your brad. And then I just found one of the holes in the die cut, and I'm just going to pop the brad through it like this, and that's going to hold the chain in place. So then you can just flip it over and flatten out those prongs. Again, you want to kind of be mindful of how you flatten them so that they're not sticking out awkwardly. But once you've got them in place, they should hold pretty well. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing to the other side. Since these die cuts are mirrored on both sides, you should be able to get a pretty even, you know, look just like this. So same thing, poke it through, flatten down the brad heads, and then you have a couple of chains that are dangling here. And the chains are optional, you don't have to do it, but I like the way they look. I think it gives it a very, you know, vintage feel. So here is what that looks like when it's all said and done. cute little element to add to the front of your journal. So I decided I wanted to make 2 of these and have one on the back as well. So I'm going to do the same thing with this other die cut that I have. And for this image, it's actually part of the same image from that Shabby Rose printable. It's her hands holding some flowers. So I just, again, traced like an oval shape out of that, cut it, and then used that image as well. And then once those were done, I did take a coffee dyed paper doily that I made and glued that down to the center of my cover. And I'm just going around the edges with a little bit of distress ink to give it a little bit more dimension. I felt like it needed a little bit more contrast and pop. So I'm taking the color Vintage Photo and just kind of going around just the edges of that to make it stand out a bit more. And then while I was at it, I went ahead and added that ink to the edge of my journal as well to kind of give it a more finished look and warm it up. I really wanted to stick to like warm tones for this journal, keeping it nice and fall-ish. And you can see to the right, I laid out my design for the cover here, and I did grab this little label. This is from the classic vintage large labels kit. So I just pulled a little paper label from that to use. And then I'm going to start by gluing down my frame kind of to the center of the cover. And I found that it helps to kind of prop the cover up while you do this. It keeps those chains from getting tangled and like in the way while you're trying to glue, if you just kind of give it a little bit of gravity to help it along here. So I'm gonna go ahead and start by gluing that down, and then we can add the corners next. So I am using a little bit of actual hardware here, and I like to glue my corners down to help kind of hold them in place while I then add the little brads to like make them a little more secure. And I did use an awl to help poke holes through my cover. You could also use a needle or anything sharp that you have on hand. You could also just glue them in place and not add the little brads, but I think the brads make it look a little more finished, so that's what I'm doing here. And we do have faux hardware in our shop, so if you want to have corners for your journal but don't want to have to use actual expensive heavy hardware, we do have faux hardware, so I will link that down below in case you want to use that instead. And then after that, I just went ahead and glued down that label, and I'm also adding a couple of these fussy cut butterflies. These are from the Autumn Cottage Fussy Cuts collection, and I just chose a couple that I liked. And to be like entirely transparent, these do print at a much larger size. I shrunk mine down to 37%, so when you go to print, usually depending on the printer you have, there's a setting that says like print size. So I changed that from 100% down to 37, and that gives me these smaller butterflies here to use. And then I did fold them kind of along the wings here, like this, to give me kind of a flat plane on the body to add a little bit of glue. And then, you know, that gives the wings a little bit of dimension and makes them 3D. Now, depending on how you use your junk journal cover, you might just want to glue these down flat, because if you're not careful, they can get crushed or, you know, pop off the journal. So just kind of depends on how you plan to use your journal. But once you've gone ahead and glued those down, you can then take your final frame and glue it to the back. And again, these do have some dimension to them, so your journal won't lie perfectly flat. So if that bothers you, don't glue them to the back, I would say, if you like your journals to lie perfectly flat. But I didn't find it like a huge difference while like decorating the journal, so it's kind of just up to you and what you like or don't like. I did end up adding some pearls, which added even more dimension, and that was I felt like a little uneven, and to be honest, I think if I could do this again, I might not use the pearls, just because it was a pain to try to get them to lie flat. I know that there's like stick-on pearls that are flat, and they come in like a strip, so you could just peel the whole strip off. I didn't have any of those on hand, so I'm using like full 3D, like a chain of pearls here. And they wanted to kind of roll around while I was working with them. I probably should have traced some lines to keep everything straight, so things are a little crooked here. I'm just kind of doing all of this by hand to lay out my pearls. Probably wasn't the best idea, but I think ultimately it still looks okay. But just a warning, your journal will not lie as flat, and it's hard to get these to lie perfectly straight, so just keep that in mind. I will say though, I'm surprised how well these stayed on. I was kind of worried they would pop off, but the FABRI TAC glue is holding solid. I didn't have any of these pop off the cover while I was working the rest of the time. So shout out to FABRI TAC, holding things down. And once that was done, I decided I also wanted a trim for this journal, but the white felt like it was just not enough contrast. So what I did was I went over it with distress ink. I know that seems a little crazy because I did do the front and the back, and you could coffee dye or tea dye your fabric if you want. I was just impatient and figured this would work, and it gave me a really pretty brown color. I actually really like this, so I probably will do this again. But I then decided that that wasn't enough contrast, so I decided to add it down to a thicker, sort of wider ribbon that I have. Again, kind of like a woven texture here. And instead of being lazy and just gluing everything together, which you totally can, I decided to actually take it over to my sewing machine and sew them together like a good crafter. And I did have gold and white thread already in the machine, which was very handy for this, so it actually looks really nice. Unfortunately, what I did fail to do was measure everything correctly. So I did have enough ribbon, but I had just enough ribbon. And if I could go back, what I would have done was extend the ribbon. So I want like a good 2, 3, 4 inches extra ribbon for each of these strips that I use. And you'll see why in a second. But to start, you can see I'm just adding FABRI TAC and gluing these trims down just like this. And then I like to flip it over and adjust and make sure that everything's nice and even, because sometimes, you know, things can get a little wavy here while you're working. So I'm going to try to get things straight. And you can see here when I go to add my second strip, this is where I ran into the problem of not having enough ribbon, because they don't join properly, so you get this really awkward space at the top. And then I also have the problem of, since I layered ribbons, if the gold lines up, then the white doesn't line up, and if the white lines up, then the gold doesn't really line up. I just didn't have enough fabric to work with, so what I would have done was actually add more white ribbon than gold ribbon so that things could line up properly and overlap in a way that looked nice. But I'm gonna go ahead and kind of do a cheat here. So what I did was I glued it down so that the gold lines up, and then I'm taking sort of segments of that white ribbon, and I'm going to trim it off to kind of create a false corner here to kind of patch it in. And this ribbon does have kind of like a rounded design to it, so that's really helpful. I like my corners to have kind of a rounded look. So I just trimmed my spare patch piece in like this, and then I just glued that down to the back, and it has this kind of like straight edge and then the rounded tops, like a corner basically, because we're making corners. So this was kind of my quick fix for this project, and in the end I actually don't mind how it turned out. If you look really closely, you can see that things don't, you know, perfectly match up, but I don't think it looks bad by any means, and I actually really liked how it looked on the inside, so I'll flip it over in a bit and show you. But if you have the same problem I did, this is a pretty easy way to like make corners and kind of patch your ribbon and make it look pretty seamless. And then here's that shot from the inside. You can see you've got kind of these 4 corners. I think it looks kind of cute. I kind of like it. I don't know, what do you guys think? Sound off in the comments. But otherwise, that is going to finish up today's tutorial for this cover. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on part 2, where I decorate the inside and add pages and a closure and all of that. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching and crafting along with me, and I will see you next time. Bye!